I've spent a total of $1,481,000 in the 10 years that I've been flying. That is bizarre. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Mojo Group. Mike here. See, aviation lifestyle is glamorous, and of course you see videos on YouTube, on TV, but today I'm going to cover the real numbers of what it actually costs you. I'm also going to break down exactly how much you need in income to actually enjoy this lifestyle. For the sake of this video, aviation lifestyle is described as airplane ownership, training, and that's not just your initial training, but continuous training, your aviation gear, access to community and or applications that you use, and of course the ultimate, the freedom to fly. Now, I just told you exactly how much I've spent in the last 10 years. My cost breaks down to about $140,000 a year, which is crazy to me because when I started on this track, I remember just thinking I'm gonna spend 10-15 grand, scratch this itch, and I can call myself a pilot. But of course, this stuff can be addicting, as you've seen in my experience. And I can tell you that if you make less than 6 figures a year, it's gonna be really tough to get into this world. More so, it's gonna be tough to maintain or sustain it. Now, I'm not pushing anybody out, but over the years, you've seen me spread the news about flying. We've reviewed a ton of airplanes, but the fact is, this stuff does cost money. And you need some money in your pocket to be able to fully enjoy it. Unfortunately, cost keeps rising, whether that be training or the cost of buying aircraft. Also, the maintenance cost to operate all of these airplanes has also gone up. Now, how much do you need to make per year to actually get into this world? Let's start at $75,000. If you make anywhere between $75,000 and $95,000, you can absolutely move forward to getting your pilot's license. Now, here's the caveat. You will be limited in what you can do, and it's likely going to take you longer time to get done just on the training side. The reason I say this is from my own experience. When I decided to get my pilot's license, I was in my mid-20s and I had a full-time job. Not only a full-time job, I was running a full-scale company. And the time between trying to run my company and also going to flight training was pretty hard. And personally, I underestimated the time. And guys, this is when I was just a bachelor. No children, no wife. It was just me and my girlfriend at the time. So I had all the time in the world to dedicate to this. But again, when you have a full-time job and a full life, it is very tough to also get flight training done at the same time. So it took me about 15 months to get from zero to becoming a pilot. And the cost for that, $30,000. That's the other thing about aviation. It's not always about the money you spend per hour, it's always about the time. If you can get done with your training in a short period of time, you'll likely spend a lot less money. So if you're starting today, understand that to get a private pilot license, you're likely looking at between $15,000 and $25,000 from zero to finish. And for a salary between $75,000 and $95,000, you can get this done, but that's about it. Now, to move into the next income bracket, if you're making between $100,000 and $150,000, then we can start exploring actually owning an airplane. Here's the thing, when I started this channel, you could have bought an airplane for the same price of a used car. At the time, there were planes selling in the $12,000 range, and I kid you not, you could have had a Piper Tomahawk and or Cessna 150 at the time for $12,000 to $15,000. Right now, those same airplanes will cost you at least $30,000 to $40,000 easy. But that's not to say that you can't afford it, because guess what? Your car will likely cost $30,000 to $50,000. So if you can afford a $30,000 to $50,000 car, you can likely afford to pick up an airplane for that same price. Let's take a quick step back before we pull that trigger. So you found an airplane for $50,000, great. Whether you save the money or you finance the plane, that's up to you. But once you buy that airplane, that's when the real cost and expense starts to blow up. Okay, before you buy an airplane, understand that you need to park that airplane, so you need a hangar space and or a tie down. that will cost you anywhere from $150 a month to $750 a month on average. Number two, you need insurance. As a brand new pilot, chances are your insurance is gonna be right up there. So a couple of $1,000s a year for insurance premium. And of course, you need all the nice gear. You need a headset, you need your pilot bag, you need applications and the subscriptions depending on what equipment that airplane has. So ultimately, you're likely gonna spend at least $10,000 a year if you're flying that airplane and having to pay for all this fixed cost. But here's the downside also. Whether you fly or not, your hangar bill still has to be paid, your subscription bill still has to be paid, your maintenance bill likely still has to be paid because you have an annual every single year. And of course, if you don't fly that airplane, you might pay more in annual than if you did fly the airplane. So you'd have to budget about $10,000 to $15,000 per year for your airplane ownership. Now, let's assume you want to grow in your pilot journey, right? You've gotten your private pilot license, but you like to get other ratings. The next rating that makes the most sense is to get your instrument rating. Well, you need to carve out another couple of $1,000s for that. Depending on where you are in the country, an instrument rating will cost you anywhere from $15,000 to about $25,000. Okay, now when you have your own airplane, you can probably save a good fraction of that cost. So if you have your own airplane and you're just paying for instruction, you could get it done for much less than that. Some pilots like myself decide to get other add-ons. So you can get your complex, you can get a glider rating. All of these ratings will cost you something. In my experience, I've spent roughly $75,000 in the last 10 years on getting all the additional ratings. When you get into this world, you only think about getting better or getting more. So be ready to pay the cost. Okay, now we're moving from $100,000 to about $150,000. If you make $150,000 or more every year, or let's say you make between $150,000 to $200,000, now you have more flexibility to actually enjoy this lifestyle. At that income level, not only can you afford to own your own airplane and or cover the bills comfortably, you can also afford to splurge a bit on trips. Okay, the whole point of owning an airplane is to actually enjoy it. And whether you're flying yourself or you're flying with friends and family, you can afford to fly more and go longer distance and or buy more gear that you don't necessarily need. Now, here are the mistakes that most people make. Number one, you don't need to buy an airplane to actually own an airplane. You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a machine that you barely fly 25 to 50 hours a year. You can easily get into aircraft ownership through partnership, or you buy into a group. As a matter of fact, I highly encourage this because, as I said, buying an airplane comes with its perks, but it also comes with its heavy cost. There's a heavy overhead cost with airplane operations, whether you fly that plane or not. And so much more easier when you share that cost with several people. I found this out myself after purchasing my third airplane, and I thought, why am I spending all of this money when I could easily find a better way to go about this? So as I'm speaking to you right now, I own 3 to 4 airplanes for businesses, and I make sure that I have partners with those airplanes, including the one I built 5 years ago, the Sling TSI. I have a partner on that aircraft as well. It makes zero financial sense to just take on all that cost yourself. And as I mentioned how much I've actually spent, I could have saved so much money if I thought about this in the beginning. So there you are. You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can literally get into this lifestyle and sustain it with a tenth to a quarter of the cost than, say, someone like me paid or other pilots are doing. Now, if you have the money to splurge, I still would not do it. Okay, save your money, still enjoy the lifestyle. Now, mistake number 2 is that we underestimate how long it will take. And that goes 2 ways. One, you underestimate how long training will take. Guess what? When you're going through flight training, there's so many things that you don't control that you think you control, right? To fly airplanes, weather has to be in cooperation with you. To fly airplanes, you need government officials to administer the check rides. Those are two big things that you don't control. And of course, to fly an airplane, you also need that airplane to be safe and well maintained. Depending on the school you go to, you might have some shady business going on there. At our school, look up Flight Academy, which, by the way, if you are looking to get your pilot's license and or you want to become a professional pilot, make sure you check out the program at my flight school. Look up flightacademy.com. Not only do we train you, we also train you in the newest airplane. We have brand new modern airplanes with glass avionics, and also the operational costs for these airplanes are a lot more affordable than, say, your conventional Cessna 172s. So check us out, look up flightacademy.com. Now, back to my point, don't underestimate how long your training will actually take. And that also correlates directly with your personal life. If you have a full-time job, you have a full family and little children, you might want to take a pause on getting a pilot's license, because it is a journey and all of your loved ones have to come on board with you on that journey. Now, the last mistake I see most people make, which is very common but often not thought about, is not taking care of yourself. Guys, when you make the decision to become a pilot, understand that the FAA, the only reason why the FAA will either give you that license or take it away is your health. If you are not taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and your health is deteriorating, chances are you're not even going to enjoy this lifestyle for a long time, right? To get a private pilot license, you need to get a FAA medical. It's very similar to a physical, and depending on what class of license that you're looking to get or a class of medical, they run you through different tests. And also, there are some health issues that the FAA frowns upon. If you have any of these, aka if you're diabetic, if you suffer from mental health or anything extreme, chances are you either will get disqualified and or it just would take you a much longer time to get your medical certificate. So please, before you even start, make sure you're taking care of yourself before, during, and after. Keep in mind, you get your license just once. You only need one time to get a pilot's license, and it can last you a lifetime. But if you don't take care of yourself, then none of this stuff that we're talking about even matters. So to circle back, if you're making $100,000 or more, you can get in this world and enjoy it very much. And if you want more tips, leave in the comments below or check out a ton of videos that I've already made on this channel. I've covered everything from medical to aircraft purchases to fractional ownership. Okay, so make sure you check those out and subscribe if this is your first time. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Again, if you have any questions, leave in the comments below. More videos will come out on the money side of flying because it's not talked about well enough, and I plan to cover every single part of this industry as much as I know in 2026. All right, until next time, I'll see you on the next video. Peace.